Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Today is January 30th, 2017. And this is, I was searching I just typed in Google, breaking news or news for today. And I ran across this article and across a few other articles, but this one kind of caught my attention. It's called Bullhorns, Russia, USA. It says, because this guy Trump, he's making things happen, man. He's signing all type of executive orders. He's just getting busy, and this thing is ramping up, and he's making an alliance with the Russians, but there's gonna be something that's gonna happen to where that alliance is gonna be broken. This is it says U.S. President Donald Trump speaks by phone with Russia's President Vladimir Putin in the Oval Office at the White House in Washington, U.S. January 28, 2017. It says the presidents of Russia and the United States have had their first historic phone call. By all accounts, restoring the country's bilateral relationship is underway. So it's seeming that things are getting patched up, and to the average person that doesn't know about prophecy, they'll look at it and be like, oh, well, things are getting patched up, so there won't be no war between Russia and America, But it goes on to say, it says Putin and Trump want this, but will it happen? And the answer to that question is no, it won't happen. In other words, it may happen to where they do come to an agreement and they do put their differences aside and they do make a league, to where there would be peace between America and the U.S. I'm sorry, between America and Russia. But the thing is that something's gonna happen to where prophecy is gonna be fulfilled. Cause see, the problem with people in the world outside of the apostles and elders and men of great millstone is that they don't understand prophecy. Now you do have some people out there that have spoken about the prophecy of Ezekiel and other prophecies, about Russia and stuff like that. But on the whole, the majority of people out there in the world do not have a clue about Bible prophecy, because they don't read. First of all, they don't read the scriptures, and the understanding that they have is the understanding that's been given to them by their slave masters, the so-called white men, the Edomites, and their so-called their warped breakdown of what they think the scriptures are speaking about. So this is Ezekiel 38:1, and that's the problem. The problem is they're not qualified to teach the Bible. So they're in a desperate attempt to try to restore America to its former glory days. But this place called America, which the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai calls Babylon the Great in the scriptures, is destined for destruction, because this place has committed so much wickedness, and it has destroyed the people of the Lord, and in so many ways, I mean, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, however you want to say it, So it's time for the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to bring judgment upon America, known as Babylon the Great. And it doesn't matter how many treaties or how many what's the word I'm looking for? How much they try to stop it, or try to patch things up, it's not going to work, because it's already in the works. It's already a Bible prophecy. We've already been speaking about it, and the first parts of bringing down society or a person or anything or an empire starts first with the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's what eventually causes an empire to fall, because at first the Lord gives the word, then afterwards he brings forth his judgment. This is Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which is around the land of Russia. Today, that's the land of Russia. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now, Meshech and Tubal are, if I'm not mistaken, they're in the province of what's called today Turkey. You know, that's where Meshech and Tubal are located, because all those lands around in that area are all like allies with Russia. You know, as long or as well as others that this prophecy here mentions. It says, and say thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. See, and that's the point. So they're going to be heading down one path, and the Lord is going to turn them around to go back to their old ways. And their old ways was when the Soviet Union was intact. The USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic. You know, that's when they were together as one. You know, but after a while they started breaking apart and they started losing certain provinces. But now, in those provinces being falling apart and losing those certain provinces, those provinces became independent nations. But those independent nations or those independent countries are going to come together with Russia once again to destroy America. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This is in the book of same book. I'm sorry, not the same book. In the book of oops. My bad. In the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. Should have just pulled it up on the. Matter of fact, you know what? It's gonna do it like this. Yeah. Just bear with me 1 second. Alright, Jeremiah 50th chapter. See, I had it right there. Jeremiah the 50th chapter in the 9th verse. It says, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. See, so that north country is Russia. And what happened was, in process of time, these devils, you know, they through America and other situations, these certain provinces of Russia were broken off away from them. You know, so you have all these little different. That's why they was it a couple of years ago? I forget the name of that province, but Russia fought and they took that province back. I forgot the name of the province. The name escapes me right now. But, you know, they took that province back, you know, because it rightly belonged to them. You know, so now all these different independent nations of the north, which were in league with Russia at one time, are going to turn again and come together with Russia for the purpose of destroying America, Babylon the Great, because it's the prophecies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Because this place here is going to be totally destroyed. Their so-called missile defense technology is not going to work. Because they may test it now and it may work. But remember, you got the chariots. The chariots can cause the signal to be blocked. and you not be able to accomplish your things. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to the prophecies of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that's it. You know? So no matter how smart you think you are, no matter how smart you international bankers think you are, no matter how smart you Edomites, you so-called white people think you are, you're not going to outsmart the creator. The creator is the one that created you. You know, like the scripture says, shall an axe boast against him that heweth it? No. You're the axe, and the Most High is the creator of the axe. So who's greater? The Most High, because the axe cannot swing itself. Okay? So going back to Ezekiel 38, it says, Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, because Russia's military is greatly equipped. And what they're doing is they're equipping other nations that are in league with them, or that are confederate with them. They're giving them certain weapons. You know, and that's why America is trying to cut off certain trade routes or certain areas to stop that, because they want to control everything. And in them trying to control everything, that's one of the things that's going to bring about their demise, right? It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. These are different nations that are in league with Russia. With them, all of them with shield and helmet, because this is the preparation for World War III. This is the preparation of war. You know, this is the Lord setting up what's called in the scriptures Armageddon, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which the word Armageddon simply means the mountain of the troops, and the word Jehoshaphat simply means Yahweh's judgment, you know, because that's that great slaughter, that great judgment. World War III is the great judgment of the Lord, because not only is he going to deal with these armies, he's also going to have Yahweh Shai come back shooting missiles from the chariots, and the nuclear missiles are going to be shot. So he's going to do a lot of devastation. That's why the scriptures say that the slain of the Lord shall be many. It says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, many people with them. And these are different areas there, like in Turkey. You know, it's a great, big. There's something about Turkey that's heavy for the last day prophecies also, because if you look at an ancient map, it'll show you Gomer, Meshach, Tubal, and those different nations there that the scriptures speak about at the end of the days. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, because Russia is being a guard unto these nations. You know, that's why whenever America tries to punk one of the nations, you know, that is in league with Russia, Russia steps in. So there's going to be something that's going to take place that's going to break apart this alliance of America and Russia, you know. So if this guy of Trump, the ruler of the world, if he happens to make a tight bond knit with Putin and Russia, that tight bond knit, there's going to be something that's going to take place, is going to happen, that's going to break that whole union apart. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back, Salakia, that is brought back from the sword, which that's talking about the land of Israel. Now keep in mind, when you read certain scriptures, certain chapters in certain scriptures are go back and forth, and you know, from the ancient times to now. Okay, you just have to know how to qualify it. It says, then that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people, because Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. That's talking about the military, their planes and their missiles and all of that. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, because they're not going to be able to escape from that cloud. It says, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. So it's going to be like a storm of troops and weapons. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that evil thought is where the Lord is going to use to put that hook in your jaw and turn you back to your old ways. I looked up the word thou shalt think, comes from the Hebrew word chashab. And the Hebrew word chashab means to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent, make a judgment, imagine, count. To be accounted, be thought, be esteemed, to be computed, reckoned, to think, to devise, to count, reckon, to be considered, to plate or interpenetrate, to weave, to fabricate, figuratively, to plot, to contrive, usually in a malicious sense. Hence from the mental effort to think, regard, value, compute, account, conceive, consider, count. Man, this word is bad, man. Cunning, man, workman, devise, esteem, find out, forecast, hold, imagine. So pretty much there's going to be something that's going to take place that's going to cause the president of Russia and the Russian military to come against America and destroy this place. And those allies that used to be, or those provinces that used to be a part of Russia, are going to come together with Russia and fight against America, along with the allies of America, the European Union, coming against America and destroying this place. Because I heard, brother say, I haven't done the research on it, but I heard a brother say, I believe it was at the camp, that this guy Trump wants to do away, or he wants to cut out the United Nations, from any involvement in America or something along those lines. I can't quote it properly because like I said, I didn't do the research on it. I heard the brother say it, and it made sense, because when he said that, the first thing that came to my mind was, they shall hate the whore, and they shall burn it with fire. So all these European nations that are involved in the EU, they're gonna come against America, even though right now they're in league with America. So the Lord is prepping this stuff, and He's getting this thing popping. And as Apostle Tahar and other brothers have been saying, Trump is the man. He has to be the man, because he's shaking things up, man. He's shaking that hornet's nest, man. He's shaking that hornet's nest. The hornets are stinging his ass, but he don't give a damn. He's just shaking it, So he's got to be this devil to get things popping, because like Apostle Tahar had said also, was even if they what's the word I'm looking for? Even if they assassinate this guy Trump, the everything is already in the works, man. So being that everything is in the works, if they do assassinate him, then the next guy that come in, he'll get the things popping. But the point is that we're at that time right now. We're at that time, and it's very probable that this guy Trump is the man, because he's getting things shaking, man. He's stirring things up, So that's why when I read this article, Bullhorns, Russia, USA, I thought about this part here where it says the president of Russia and the United States have had their first historic phone call. By all accounts, restoring the country's bilateral relationship is underway. Putin and Trump want this, but will it happen? And the thing is, no. And like I said, if it does happen, if they do come together, which they may just come together, and what I mean by it won't happen, mean that eventually something's going to happen where that union is going to be broken up anyway. So if that union does come together, it will break apart eventually, because the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai have to be accomplished. All right. So with that, I just wanted to make a quick little video on that information that I ran across. I hope brothers been edified. To the next time I say Shalom.